Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me this afternoon from a location unknown to us. It's Scott Girard, Fitchburg Star. Scott, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. All I'll reveal is I can look out my window and see snow, and that's the only clue I'll give.
Ooh, so he does see snow, so he's somewhere in the, maybe somewhere in southern Wisconsin. I mean, he could be in Colorado skiing for all we know.
If
No,
only.
we know he's around here because he and Fitchburg Star. You guys got a busy night tonight coming up here, and we'll get to that. But we have you here to talk about elections, and then we'll look at your candidate forum that you guys are holding tonight here at City Hall. Fitchburg was a little bit busier than folks around the area with the primary.
Yeah. Last night, Fitchburg people, all except District One, they got to stay home, but otherwise, Fitchburg voters all had something on their ballot, and really not many of the other suburban municipalities yesterday had elections. It was mostly focused on the Madison mayoral race. I think was the biggest one in the region that got the most attention, but otherwise, it was a quiet day. But certainly some important elections here in Fitchburg.
Absolutely, and we'll kick things off here with the big one. It was the Alder District 4 seat 8 had four candidate possibilities there, and you've got the results.
Yeah, so Janelle Rice and Ed Kinney are the top two vote getters out of that primary election. Like you said, there were four candidates. Mark Jones and Scott Lehman were the other two candidates. But Janelle Rice received the most votes with 223, with Ed Kinney receiving 165 in second place. Both were pretty well ahead of third and fourth, with Mark Jones receiving 91 and Scott Lehman receiving 84. So that means Janelle and Ed will be on the April 2nd ballot for a 1-year term. So that's one of the seats that, with the changes in election terms that are going into effect this year, that's one of the seats affected. Alder Tony Hartman, who's currently in the seat, decided not to run for re-election, so it was an open race. And you had four people, very interesting candidates, but Janelle and Ed emerging victorious. It'll certainly be interesting to see what the next couple months leading up to the general election are like. Janelle Rice has been very involved in the North Stoner Prairie discussion. She's a resident of that area and has spoken at a few different meetings about the changes to the comprehensive plan and that issue over the last year. She's also a former mayoral candidate in 2015 when she was in the primary. Ed Kinney is a Plan Commission member on the Ag and Rural Affairs Committee, has been on both of those for 23 years as a Plan Commission member and 15 on the Ag and Rural Affairs. So he's got a lot of city government experience himself. So it'll be very interesting to see the issues that come to the forefront from those two.
Absolutely, yeah. It was familiar names there as far as that race went. Turning over to the Madison School District, that was the other areas, District 2, 3, and 4, that they were voting on. And we'll start with Madison School District, seat number 3.
Yeah, so C3 was kind of a funny situation. There were three names on the ballot, but actually only two of the candidates were running. Skylar Croy had announced shortly after turning in nomination papers that wouldn't run a campaign. And so but it was too late to take the name off the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
And so they still, because of having three candidates, they had to do a primary. So Chris Carusi and Kaleem Kerr were the only candidates really campaigning for the seat. And so they did emerge victorious, not surprisingly. But actually, Skylar received, in the whole school district, received more than 2,000 votes. And here in Fitchburg received 44 votes. So there were still some people interested in that name, I guess. So, but that race will be Chris Carusi and Kaleem Kerr on April 2nd.
Gotcha. That's interesting stuff there. Did not know that on that one. This is why we
Mm-hmm.
have you here, Scott. We love you for this. Madison School District seat number 4 had quite a few candidates in it.
Yeah, so that was a four-way race, just like the District 4 Seat 8 race. And the candidate who won there, Ali Janae Muldrow, actually got more than half of the vote. So that was a good sign for her going into the general election. She, in all of The Madison Metropolitan School District received 18,962 votes. David Blaska came in second with 7,851.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Fitchburg's vote total followed a similar pattern, certainly not to that scale, but Ali received 389 and David Blaska received 226. So Lila Barakim and Albert Bryan were the third and fourth place finishers, respectively, in that race.
Gotcha. Yeah, it looks like District 2 turned out well for that one as
Mm-hmm.
far as that race goes. All right, and finally, Madison School District seat number 5 had 3 candidates in that one, and how'd that one turn out, Scott?
Yeah, so this is also the only one with an incumbent, and the incumbent TJ Mertz came in second, so he will move on to the general election. The winner, Ananda Murilli, got the most votes both district-wide and in Fitchburg again. And then Amos Rowe came in third place. And again, Ananda, who won, got more than half of the votes cast for that race. She got 16,701, while TJ Mertz got 11,722.
A lot closer here in Fitchburg, though, with a 334,
Yes.
306. So it'll be a tight one here, it appears, in the city of Fitchburg.
Yeah, and it'll be very interesting, both in the city of Fitchburg and district-wide. Spring primaries without a major state race are typically low turnout. According to the county clerk's website, turnout for the whole county was 20%. And turnout in Fitchburg was 10.3%. Have to imagine that's going to go up for the general election, especially in Fitchburg, given the mayoral race and other aldermanic seats that are up. And so it'll be interesting to see where that turnout number goes and where those people who didn't vote in the primary but vote in the general election turn for school board.
And real quick, Scott, do you think, based on politics today, that we'll probably see a bigger turnout just in general? More people interested in the election in the process?
I would think so. And 20% for a spring primary countywide is pretty impressive. Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, there was the Madison mayoral race, which I think probably drove a healthy amount of that because that's still a big thing. But with no state races on the primary ballot, having a 20% turnout for a February primary is a pretty big deal. So I would imagine the general will see a large number again. I think there's just a lot of political energy right now in this region.
Absolutely. And now turning the page here, Scott, real quick. Tonight, you guys are teaming up with us, and we're going to be hosting a candidate forum for our mayoral candidates.
Yeah, so tonight at 6 p.m. at City Hall, we are excited. Both Jason Gonzalez and Aaron Richardson will be in attendance. We've got about 10 questions we're going to ask them, and then if there's time left over, we're planning to take some from the audience. Not loving the snow, not sure what attendance we'll see, but that's why we're very thankful to you guys for carrying it live and having it online for people to access plenty of time before the election. So we're glad about that. But certainly if you're not able to come but are watching live and have a question submit, feel free to tweet at us or comment on our Facebook posts about it, and we'll do our best to get to those if we have extra time.
Fantastic, Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time. We'll see you tonight here at City Hall.
Looking forward to it.
All right, that's Scott Girard, Fitchburg Star, helping us out with the elections, and we always appreciate his time. We'll take a quick break. You are watching Talking Fitchburg.